How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Thankful that I get a chance to, play another game. And thankful that I got a chance, do it with the locker room one more time.
Is there any relief in the diagnosis? I know initially it was said to be pretty dangerous, but for what you've gotten, is there any relief?
There is relief for myself, for the building, and the training staff. They gonna get it right. Continue to walk me through the process, what I need to do to get better, and get back on the field.
What is the prescription? What do you need to do to get better?
Just really just heal. Talk with the trainers. Probably have some rehabbing. And then just continue to try to get stronger on my shoulder. And then try to get ready for next year. You said how long? There hasn't been a time limit yet. But it's good things. The off season, I got a couple months.
So thinking you don't need surgery.
I don't know that for sure. That's all in the training room. But if that's the case, we're gonna do what I need to do. But I don't think that's the case right now.
What's the biggest thing you learned from rookie season?
You just got to take every game and approach it a different way. You don't know who you're lining up against on the other side of the ball. You get a chance to see some freakish athletes out there in the world, and you just got to know how to operate with it. Get your guys the ball, and I've learned that throughout the year. They also staying upright, staying healthy, and then just trying to finish go into next season the same way we finished this season on offense.
How does the injury change your plans to go and work on mechanics and through all the things that you wanted to shore up this offseason? How much does it push that back?
It doesn't push it back at all. I'm working on my base of my mechanics. I'm not changing my throwing motion. So the timetable for what I have set to get to mechanically what I need to do is still on schedule.
Yeah, when you're so competitive and hell-bent on winning, is that the mindset you take with an injury as well and the rehab process, or if not, what is that like for you?
Say that again?
Do you kind of take your same competitive mindset and that drive to win into a rehab process for an injury, or if not, what is your process and mindset in approaching that?
Oh yeah, I do. Cause I gotta. The best part about and the good part about being a quarterback, you got to stay healthy for your teammates. If I'm not playing a lot of games, then majority of the time we're not gonna be in a lot of games. So I just try to take my health as seriously as I can, and just attacking it every day.
How important was the success you had at the end of the season, to you and your growth mentally and physically out on the field?
Really wasn't that important at all. I know I'm gonna have success. I know I'm gonna have bad days. So it's really just more of doing what we did the back half of the season, but making that be our football each and every time we step on the field.
Popular sentiment in the locker room today was everybody's seen what the Bears, Patriots, and Jaguars have done, and that you guys absolutely have to have the belief that can be you, not in 2 years, but next year.
Yeah, and we know we get there. Also, we gotta get the right head coach in here, which we will, and then get a couple more playmakers, just all around. And we're gonna make that change from my first year to the second year, whether it's wins, whether it's a lot of them, or whether we just get in the playoffs. But we're gonna continue to push each other in the locker room, continue to get better in the off season, me and the receivers, and go score a lot of points next year.
J.C. Latham, he said that you talked as an offense about the importance of continuing that run game, the identity. How important is that, and how much do you want to carry that over to next year?
That's the biggest thing we got to carry over. Once we start being efficient on offense, everyone find out and felt what it's supposed to look like on a consistent basis. And we got the right guys, especially on offensive line, receiver room, everywhere else. But we just got to continue to want to and push each other. We got to continue to reach another level of accountability with each other, and that's something that we're gonna continue to get over the offseason. We just got to apply it next year.
You spoke about additional playmakers. I know you love the guys you have, but with more bound to come in, how much can that expand what this offense can do and what you'll be able to do?
It's gonna do nothing but help it. From explosive standpoint, to a touchdown standpoint, just everywhere. The guys we have are the guys who's going to be here for the long time. So for us to just continue to build our connection to where we don't have relapses and have bad plays. And when we get the new young guys in here to, bring them with us and, not try to have them in the position that we were in this year.
You said you want to have input in the coaching process. What role do you want to play, and what message do you want to impart to Mike or whoever ultimately makes the call?
Really just the coach. Just the whole locker room. We just want someone who's going to lead us. Who's going to hold every player accountable. We know whether it's offensive, defensive coach, they're going to always put us in the right situation. So we're not worried about that. It's more of we want a players coach who's going to listen to us. Care about our bodies and just do what he thinks is best for the team and the organization.
Obviously, you'll keep in contact with Mike throughout the course of the offseason, but what was kind of the exit interview for you like today?
Getting healthy on my shoulder. Doing the little things I need to do to become a better player next year. And then really just taking time off and just really focusing on film. Film can take care of a lot. I think film can take care of more of anything on the field can take care of. So, just learning more, about the game, watching film on defenses I didn't play this year because I might end up playing them in the future, and then just getting better as a player.
What was going through your head in the moments after the injury when you were heading off the field and then eventually to the locker room?
Too much shit was going through my head. So hurting. Want to see if I could play, trying to hurry up and get, an x-ray done to see, what the injury was. But, I mean, everything happens for a reason. I was able to stay healthy, for a majority of the year. And I just, keep praying that, God, continues to bless me that way.
Did you hear or feel it pop or anything, or was it just kind of you could sense something?
I just felt something, yep.
Where'd that rank on the pain meter compared to other things you've suffered during your football career?
I mean, I got up off the field, so it was fine.
And what is it specifically about Mike Borgonzi that gives you the confidence that he can turn things around for next year?
He's got a vision. We see eye to eye. The draft class that he brought in proved it. And he's a GM who's connected to his players. He wants to know things about them, about their family, everything. So he's within the building, and it's good because no matter whether we want to get someone in the draft or we want to sign somebody for agency, he's gonna make the right call. He's gonna make the right call as the head coach, and we're gonna all be behind him.
When you think back to the beginning of this year, not on the field, but in the locker room and in the building, how much progress do you see in terms of the culture that you guys are trying to build, those of you that are fundamental parts of this team going forward?
It's getting better every week. It's not where it needs to be, but it's something that's gonna change fast. It's something that we're gonna change as soon as we get back. So I'm excited. We have the locker room to do it. We got a locker room to win a lot of games. And that's gonna be our expectation next year.
Is that culture built inside the locker room, or is it something that a new coach can add to?
It's both. The players got to build it, but the coach got to maintain it. And it's something that it can't always be a player-led team. A player-led team is good, but if you have a coach who emphasizes it and stays on it and holds you accountable, it takes care of everything else.
Is there a next step you'd really like to see the culture take next year?
Really just winning more games. I think winning more games can establish a culture, and then everybody continue doing what they're doing, taking some time off, getting better, individually what they need to work on. But when we get back here, we just got to take the next step, as a brotherhood.
When you say the culture isn't where it should be, what is your reference point for what the culture should look like?
The culture should be really a mindset, and it don't matter who we play, don't matter how you feel, the goal is to win. Every game, no matter how you get there, what you got to do to get there, before the game, after the game, but the goal is to win. I think once we have that mindset each and every day, because it starts at practice. Once you get that mindset, everything else will handle itself.
This first season in pro ball, how much did it match your expectations you had coming in? Anything surprise you? Is this about what you thought it'd be? What did you learn this year?
First thing I learned, get your helmet down, a quarterback sneak, or they'll pop your ass. Another thing I learned, you can throw late back across the middle in the NFL. I say that the third thing I learned is, you gotta really, love the game to play it. I see a lot of guys who love it, but it's a way that you can love it really more. And it doesn't matter, what you do outside the building. No one knows what you do outside the building, but when you're in the building, how you handle yourself, how you watch film, how you be around your teammates, how you interact with other people across the building. It goes a long way, and that's what I'm excited for. The building's changing, everyone's changing for the better, and I'm just glad that I can be a part of it.
Did you have any objection to the hit on the play you got hurt on?
What you mean?
You have any beef with that? Did you think he was late or anything like that?
I mean, he's a football player. He's trying to make a play. He's trying to stop me from scoring, man.
Okay, I'd like to start out by thanking Amy, Mike, and Chad for believing in me, trusting me to lead this organization, back to New England Week. It means the world to me. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm very grateful for it. We've had phenomenal communication from the very first meeting up until yesterday's game about how we're going to do things, what we wanted to do. Mike and I, being the head coach and the general manager, the relationship we've built over the past 12 weeks is unbelievable. I mean, we had a lot of great discussions, talking through roster every week, what you need to do, how we need to do it, transactions, move certain things we're going to do during the season, how we wanted to play that week. It's been unbelievable, and I think that's important for a head coach and general manager to have that working relationship and be able to do that and make tough decisions together, because it wasn't Mike's decision or my decision, it was our decision for the organization. So I think that was phenomenal. And I look back to that first meeting, talking to Amy, Mike, and Chad. We talked about the growth of the football team and how we wanted this team to grow over the next 11 games of the season. And I think as a staff, coaching staff, players, everybody involved, we did an outstanding job doing that. You see the growth of all these younger players you guys asked about every week, week in and week out. They continue to get better, which was unbelievable to see these guys grow. And to see the leadership is outstanding. And the next thing we talked about, is how we were going to play. We were going to play hard, tough, and together. And I think you'll see up to the very last snap yesterday, that's exactly how these players played. They worked extremely hard during the year. They stuck together through some tough times. It wasn't easy. So that was kind of special to see. I'd also like to thank the fans, through a difficult season. You see the way the fans were, the Kansas City game. We played our best game of the year. The way we played that day at home in front of our fans was unbelievable. My wife on the way home on the car ride mentioned, that was what it's all about. And that's, then we came back to New Orleans game and we got off to the good start. Unfortunately, we didn't finish it, but when you hear Sweet Caroline, I think it was like 11 minutes left in the game, you hear that and the crowd's going crazy. A lot of great memories to that song, and but that was great. That's what it's all about. So thank you to the fans for everything. And then, to thank my family, my wife, my kids, for all their support. I couldn't do it without them. And it was kind of neat because the other night on the phone, we just talked about where we were at this time last year. And it's just to get this opportunity to lead the organization is special. And there's only 32 of these jobs, and to say, hey, that Amy, Mike, and Chad gave me this opportunity, it's like, wow, this is awesome. And then, I'd like to thank the entire organization. Everybody from the trainers, the ops department, equipment, player engagement, team security, video department, Everett, and the rest of his staff. I couldn't do it without them. But everybody bought into our plan. It was out of this world. And I think that I couldn't do it without them. It wasn't just me. It was everybody in the organization getting these players, because it's all about the players. And we got to do everything we can to help the players. And I'd also like to thank you guys. I mean, I know this was a tough situation. Unfortunately, when I first got in here, week 7, we didn't have a lot of, we hadn't talked a lot. And we kind of built the relationships over time. And, it wasn't always easy. We didn't know a lot about each other, but I think we built relationships, and it kind of, as time went on, we had fun and we enjoyed each other. We gave each other a bad time. When someone would show up late every once in a while, walking in, won't say any names or anything, or it was enjoyable, and that's the way it should be. But we should be able to have fun together. We both have tough jobs to do, and people are always going to question articles or decisions, and that's just the way it is. But it was fun working with you guys. I really appreciate it, and thank you for everything you guys do. I appreciate it. The next thing is to thank the coaches. What an outstanding job in a tough time. The ups and downs. There's a lot of transactions that happen, injuries that happen during the year. There's roster changes, but they just kept working, and they just did whatever they could to help. We talk about the growth of the football team, and that's one thing I'll look back at. You can look at every position to see how did the guys get better, and give the coaches a lot of credit for that. On the back end on the defense, the number of changes we made week in and week out, and just see those coaches work the way they did is special. And that's kind of one of the things I told the players this morning, is that not only are they good coaches, they're even better people, and they truly cared about the players. And I think that's one of the big reasons why you saw our players play the way they did up until the bitter end of the very end of the season. It's because of the type of people we have in the organization and the way we treated these players. And so give those guys, it starts with the coaches and transfers over to the players. And then the coordinators, making adjustments on a weekly basis, with different personnels, how we're going to play, who we're going to do it with, putting the best plans together for the guys we have. Nick keeping everyone, going offensively through a tough time when there's changes. Give him a lot of credit for the way he handled the situation when Bo took over the play calling, and then obviously when I became the head coach, give Nick a ton of credit for the way he kind of did things and kept everyone rolling. And Luke, had a big part in the running game as time went on there, and you give him, him and Scott and Jonesy a ton of credit for the way they worked together to put the run game together and to run it the way we wanted to at the end of the year. And I'm not going to go on and on about the other coaches also, and then Denard just weekly making the changes and putting guys in a position to get after the quarterback, make plays, and then Bones obviously with having the Pro Bowl returner and Chim and everything like that. So I'm just very happy with the way the coaches worked and how they helped these players get better. And then it's all about the players. Can't thank them enough, and it starts with the captains, the way they led this football team, the way they worked. Great examples when you watch the way these guys played every single day. There's a reason why they were voted captains, and the way they practiced, the way they showed these young guys, and obviously Cam was one of the captains. What an honor as a rookie to be a captain, says a lot about him. But these players, free agents, the draft picks, however you got here, we became a team. We stuck together through some tough times, and they all played their tails off. So I can't say that and say enough good things about all the players. Just so happy for them. You see someone, just to mention a few things, like Chig. Most receiving yards in a season for him, most receptions in a season. Jeff, 11 sacks. That's best. That's tops in him. Tony Pollard, most rushing yards. And it's just great to see when you see those players. They're great examples, and they have their best years. So it's great to see that, and they're great. It's great to have the young guys learn from these guys. Great role models to have, and they're just true pros. So with that, I was kind of long-winded there, but I'll open up some questions.
Mike, Cam said he's listening to the training staff and rest and everything. Sounds like it might be the path. Has a decision been made yet that he might need surgery?
They're evaluating everything. So I hear it's good results from what they've heard, but I have not talked to Matt directly. I've been in with coaches and been with players, but it's been positive feedback.
What's your next step?
My next step? Just got a couple more, got to go downstairs, talk to some more coaches, and players are coming in, continue to talk to them and see what shakes out.
I mean, do you have a meeting with Mike? Do you tell him you want the job, or?
With all due respect to the process and how they're going to go through things, that'll play itself out. Obviously, I would love to be here.
What is, whomever the next staff is, head coaches, what do they need to know about what this job has to offer and what you kind of need to navigate through it?
Well, I think the foundation is set. I think with the way you see the rookie class perform this year and the amount of plays that they got, offensively, defense, the kicking game, obviously Jeff being on defense, the foundation is here. And there's plenty of other players. I go on and on about a number of players, the linebackers, things like that. But the foundation's here. And it's just you've got to continue to improve the roster as you go on. But they got a very bright future here.
What needs to happen or what changes need to be made in order for this organization to get where it wants to go?
Well, I think it's the first day of the offseason program. So obviously it starts with hiring a coaching staff. And then you go through the whole daily, you look at your calendar, what's coming next, you just keep on going. You don't play now a real game until September. Obviously you have preseason games, but it's just each day you continue to help the organization improve. And, the staff comes in, they do all the scouting, you do all the self-scout of your team, where you need to go. That staff will put together a list of needs, and obviously Mike and his staff they're well ahead of that, and they understand what direction the organization's going. So it's the first day of the offseason program, so you just try to get better every day.
You talked a lot about being a leader, and I know you've done this job before. What was different now compared to when you were head coach before? How much things change?
Well, I don't think it's the head coach. There's so many things that come across your desk. I was very fortunate to have the 4 years experience, obviously with the Chargers, to put myself in this position. So it was an easy transition. It was seamless. Having worked obviously with Tom Telesco in San Diego, then being able to go sitting there with Mike, it was easy because I know how the things were. And every organization is different, don't get me wrong, but it's easy to go in there and talk about, the 48, how you're going to travel, all those things. So it was pretty seamless, to be honest with you.
Tell the coaching staff, besides thanks and have a good chat with Mike.
Wait, say that one more time.
What do you tell the coaching staff besides thank you and wait to hear from Mike?
Oh, well, we talked this morning. We had a staff meeting this morning. I thanked them for everything, and told them, they did an unbelievable job, through the ups and downs of the season. It was not easy, obviously, with a coaching change in week 7. And then as the year goes on and there's transactions, there's injuries, there's things that come up, I told them, they did a phenomenal job. And at the end of it, I always said, hey, listen, if there's anything I do to help you, regardless, I've been in this a long time, know a lot of coaches, if there's anything I do to help you move forward and help you in your career, please don't hesitate to reach out, because no one knows what the future lies for anybody.
Jeff said, when you talked in there, that the challenge for the new coach will be to identify and build a foundation that success can be built on. As you stand here today, what do you think the foundation within that locker room and this team is?
Well, I talked about that earlier, about the foundation. Obviously, Jeff is the leader on the defense, and he's a great guy to start. If you want to look from a defensive coordinator or scheme on how you're going to run it, you've got the best player on defense to build around. And then obviously, and there's other players, but that's just one of them. And then if you look offensively, the way Cam, you always want to have a franchise quarterback. The way Cam, you saw him get better every week. You saw a number on both sides of the ball. You saw all the draft picks that played this year. You see the free agents that came in. You see how they kind of filled in. So it's just it's the first day of the offseason program. So I think the foundation's here. It's just continue now to build the team, up until September. And it's one day at a time. And I know Mike's always looking at, hey, who is the next guy we can bring in here to help this football team be the best, get the best 53 come the opener next year.
As you look back on the last 10 weeks or so, what would you say are some of the key things that you've learned the most about Cam Ward?
Well, I've told you, every week he wants to be great. And I talked to Cam this morning about a number of different things, and it's just what you love about Cam also is that he stays steady Eddie during the game. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He knows that he was learning. We've had a lot of great discussions on a weekly basis of mistakes are on me as the coach, and just to keep going and cut it loose. And I said it last week. Unfortunately, he got dinged after the first series this week, but you saw those wow plays that, week in and week out, the past month of the season, and there's a number of them early in the year too, but the plays that he made those last couple games, it just you can't coach that. That's just pure talent of him going out there making plays. So it's just great to see the way he got better, and you can see the way seeing the field better. Early in the year as a rookie, it's the first year in a system. It's fast. It's flying around. You're thinking of plays. Can I check to something versus blitz zero? And then as you see the end of the season, he made some of those checks, and it was easy for him. So he's got a very, very bright future. He wants to be great. So look forward to seeing him have a great career moving forward.
What would be your advice to the next person that lands in this chair?
Be you. Go do it your way. That's the only way to do it. Do what you think is best for the organization. And we've all grown up in the NFL or college, wherever you come from, and you've learned from certain other coaches. But believe in your plan, stick to it, and do what you think is best, and don't worry about anything else. But you got to be you, and you have to. When you're in charge, you got to do it your way. And obviously, you get input from other people. But when you're pulling the trigger and you got to make the decisions, have confidence in it and live with it.
Should it help you and Cam, the fact that you were a quarterback, in the way you were able to coach him down the stretch, and how receptive he was to what you had to offer?
Oh, yeah, I think it's great because I've thrown interceptions before. And so you make mistakes. And so, and I've coached some of the best in the business. Obviously I had Peyton, Hall of Famer. I have another Hall of Famer. He just took a little 5-year delay in it, and Phillip. And those guys, just being around them, Jake Delhomme, I'll throw Jake in because he was the most vocal, and he was very opinionated on decision-making and throwing an interception, and he didn't hide anything on game day. You could see the emotions that he expressed on the football field, but it's you learn from all those guys, and you let them be themselves, and you understand that Cam's gonna make a mistake. He's gonna miss a throw. He's gonna throw an interception. And it's easy for you guys to write an article. It's easy for me to say something directly after the game. But what I try to do is don't make those comments. What I try to do is game day, let Cam come to the sideline, ask him, why did you do this? What did you see? And then when you look at the tape and you watch it, that's why a lot of times after games, I didn't always tell you guys everything. I'd say, I got to watch the tape because I didn't know. Cam might have said something, or another player could have said something, but watch the tape and say, okay, that's exactly what happened. It's easy when you hold a remote in your hand to say the ball should go here, the ball should go there. But if he says, hey, this is why, I just didn't see it. So there's certain things that, having played the position for a long time, I understand that.
The day that you moved up to the interim spot, you said one of the big things will be the growth you see in the football team. It took a little while, but why did the growth come in December, and what were the areas you saw the most growth late in the season?
Well, I think the great thing about it is I think I also said that I want this football team to be playing their best football in December going into January, and I think that's exactly what we did. I understood we had a younger football team, and the guys that we were playing, I had a great understanding of where our football team was and where it could go. And I think you saw the way we played in the month of December. That's the way it should be played. The way we ran the football. That was the number one thing that I think helped this football team. It was when we committed to the run and really truly ran it. I mean, you always you go into game plan saying you're going to run it, but until the Cleveland game, we hadn't run the ball that way, really. And understanding the importance of doing that, and then look, how many of the last 7 weeks did we score 24 plus points? All of them except for the Jacksonville 2 games. So I think that was the biggest thing, the biggest improvement. I think offensively, you see the way we ran the football, the commitment to it and actually doing it. And then obviously Cam played better, and you saw the defensive guys, certain guys step up.